That's that me espresso.
Nice, dude. You're current.
What are you talking about?
The this popular song right now.
I just
No,
the
never
song
mind,
I
never mind.
just the song
No,
I just made up is popular.
yeah, no, you didn't make that up. It must have just entered your subconscious because it's a very
I don't have a
popular song.
subconscious. I had that taken out years ago.
Right, right. I'm aware.
I said,
They
Doc,
took my
get this out of me. I don't want this.
they took my appendix out, and I said, Doc, while you're in there, remove the subconch.
1, 2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that pops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners. Yum, yum. Oscar Wieners.
Welcome to Oscar Wieners.
Welcome.
Peeling up an
What? I didn't have breakfast.
I don't know. He set this up like 10 minutes ago that he hasn't eaten, and he had a little smirk on his face. So I fucking should have known he was planning something like this.
No. This is
should have
natural.
No, I should have known. He said, "Kind of hungry."
No, I just as you started, I just clocked the
known.
banana. Oh, there's a banana on my desk. That's so weird. Let me just, get into that. That's all. Go ahead, finish your intro.
This is Oscar Wieners,
Yeah.
the only show on the internet where Hollywood's biggest night has a fucking cuck for a co-host. Has a fucking banana eating cuck ass for a
Absolutely.
co-host.
That is the rudest thing you ever said to me. I need potassium in order to fucking do this show.
Has a fucking potassium hound for a co-host.
Listen, I'm not gonna fight you on that. No way.
I'm fucking plantain today,
And I'm Richard Cock.
otherwise known as Dick Dicks.
Yeah, fucking Jacobs. Honestly, I'm done. I'm done with this movie already.
I'm Michael Easander. This is a podcast where every week we pick a Best Picture winner at random, and we try to figure out if it's Best Picture worthy. And this week we're talking about the 1932 Outstanding Production winner.
Oh, we're still on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Cimarron. 1M,
That's
2 R's.
Yes.
Directed by Wesley Ruggles. And it stars Richard Dix.
Nice.
If you can believe it.
I
Dix
really
spelled
can.
D-I-X.
Of course.
Richard Dix as Yancey Cravat.
It's fucking movie, dude.
Irene Dunn as Sabra. How do you say her name?
I
feel
think it's Sabra. Like
Sabra?
the hummus. Yeah.
Sabra Cravat, his wife.
Who the fuck named these people?
I have no idea. It's based on
Oh, right. It's based on a book.
a book by Edna Ferber.
All right. My bad, Edna. You can name them whatever the hell you want. Go ahead.
Cimarron is about Yancey Cravat. He lives from Kansas, right?
Yeah, Wichita.
Wichita, yeah. And he heads out to Oklahoma territory.
Wild West.
And he, like, specifically Osage.
Yeah, this is the time of the Great Land Rush
Yes.
in 1889, give or take.
Yeah, the movie starts. It starts in Oklahoma. There's like hundreds, maybe thousands of people waiting to. This is crazy.
This is real.
It's crazy that people. This is how the government was like, yeah, this is how you get your land. It's like you're just gonna go on a fucking race and
It was
like
pretty nuts.
try and like claim it.
And the scene, I will say, this is probably the best scene in the movie because, like, it does capture how nuts it was. There are also like hundreds of bystanders who are just like watching, who didn't have any shit to do that day, which is 1880s, so I imagine they didn't. There's some fucker in a bicycle who's riding by. I don't know what his plan is, but it's chaos.
Yeah. In scenes like this in old movies, I'm always like, is somebody dying and then like,
oh, like on set?
Yeah, like is somebody just like getting trampled?
Probably. It's like, you know, a couple dozen people had to die to build the Brooklyn Bridge. It's like that. A couple folks had to die in order to make the masterpiece that is Cimarron.
I agree that this opening scene is really good. I know a lot of the reviews I read for this movie, like Letterboxd reviews, are saying how the opening scene is like the only good part of the movie. I do think it's very thrilling.
Yeah.
Yancey Cravat.
Yancey knows how to ride a horse.
He sees where's he heading for? He's heading for like some fucking like it's like the fucking a particular piece of land.
Yeah.
And he's heading
he
there.
Scopes out a spot that he's like, ooh, that's where I'm gonna settle.
Yeah. But then Dixie Lee, played by Estelle Taylor, is like, that spot actually looks good also.
Yeah.
To me. So she like tricks him into like helping her, and then while he's like turned around, she like basically like steals his horse and like takes the land. And then like Yancey goes back to Wichita and he's like
landless.
Yeah, landless, and he's like, we gotta head back out there.
He's like talking to his family. He's like, you guys are gonna love it out here. It's like
awesome. His wife's family who like
Yeah.
all kind of don't like him.
Yeah.
They're like,
And
I
you
don't
find
know about
out
this
for-
guy.
For good reason, actually.
Yeah.
'Cause he's kind of a loose cannon. And he's like, we gotta get out there as soon as possible. And he does he does convince Sabra, his wife, to be like, ooh, yeah, this sounds exciting. Let's go on an adventure and claim some land.
Yeah, they have their son named Cimarron. They call him Sim.
So,
And yeah, so he convinces his wife. His mother-in-law is like, you're an asshole and I hate you and you're going to ruin my daughter's life. He's like, cool. I'll see you later.
pretty much, yeah.
They also like bring along Isaiah, played by Eugene Jackson, a really unfortunate, poor, like truly poor Eugene Jackson. Just like one of the most racist caricatures I've seen.
So far. If I can portray this accurately, they got him he's on the fucking ceiling.
Yeah.
Fanning them.
Yeah.
That's the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Ender,
yes.
I know this is your favorite movie. I know you've seen it,
That is true.
15 to 20 times?
That's not true. I've seen it maybe like 12 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
by myself. And then I've seen it like maybe like 2 or 3 times with my dad. Because he loves this movie too. And then I saw it a couple times with my uncle. So I've seen it maybe like 17 times.
Got it.
And there was that one Christmas we all watched it together as a family. It's maybe like 20 to 23 times, I would say. Yeah. What was your question?
So what was your experience watching it this time?
This time it all really fell apart for me. I loved it those previous 22 times, but on this particular try, I said, you know what? Maybe something's amiss here.
Gotcha.
It's more exciting than the Broadway melody.
Okay.
The sound is horrible. They sound like garbage. Which,
Yeah.
listen, it's 1930. I'll give them that. You definitely need subtitles if you're gonna take a stab at this one.
You can like hear the camera like running.
Yeah.
Like that's
I
like
can't fault
yeah.
them for that because like
Yeah.
the technology is insane. Like it's a miracle this exists in the
Yeah.
first place.
Yeah.
But also like the characters feel very unfulfilled and really unlikable, and that really makes it a drag kind of throughout the whole thing.
actually I think one of the more interesting things in the movie is like, because the movie takes place I didn't know this. It takes place over the course of like 40 years, basically. There will just be like these big time jumps.
Huge
it's
time
like,
jumps.
It's a decade spanning epic. And one of the more interesting things is like you see Osage like grow into like from like kind of like a big Western city into like literally like a fucking
Dust.
Yeah, it was dust. It's literally like the archetype of like a classic like fucking.
Yeah.
There's the saloon that just has like a board with somebody painted saloon on it, and that's like the sign. But then like it goes to like a fucking huge bustling city, like with skyscrapers and shit. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, when they get there, I mean, it's clear that there is some sort of a makeshift town there. There is that one scene where when they first arrive, I do enjoy that. Because Sabra is immediately like, oh, this is a nightmare hellhole. It's just a bunch of men running around screaming and drunk and gambling.
Yeah, like people are just getting shot, like just like literally killed, like just in the street because it's like, oh, these two guys got in a fight and the one guy shot the other guy. It's truly the Wild West.
Yeah, they're like, we don't even have a mortician or a funeral. Like, we have nothing. So that guy just has to sit there for a while until somebody does something about it.
This town was built overnight. So it's like, we don't really have any infrastructure. The movie, to me, does a really good job of making the town feel really alive, especially early on.
Yeah,
like it feels like a bustling, like the scale of it I think is really impressive, where it's like it just feels like there's like all these people going about doing shit.
It makes you feel some of the uneasiness of Sabra, because like, you know, she arrives and is like, I don't really like this, like, can we just like find a place to stay? And he's like, nah, we gotta. I think he like drop her off at the hotel, and so it was like, she's like, I'm scared, and he's like, you'll be fine. And he goes to gamble until like 3 a.m. He's a walking hypocrisy, that Yancey Cravat, because he's positioned as this hero character, but like he's very shitty, honestly. You know, he's a self-proclaimed proponent of Native Americans and their rights, and wants to start a newspaper, you know, that talks about important issues, which is noble, but also like you're stealing their land. So I don't know, pal. Maybe look at a mirror.
Do you know what a Mary Sue is?
No.
A Mary Sue, it's like a very like sexist incel term that incels use to describe like certain female characters and things. Like people called Rey from the newer Star Wars trilogy a Mary Sue because like she has all this skill and talent that they say comes from nowhere, and like obviously like well fucking Luke trained for his skill, but like Rey like just fucking has it. That doesn't make any sense. That's like impossible. And I'm like, yes, whatever. So Yancey, to me, I'm like, if we want to talk about Mary Sue, I wrote this guy. He's a lawyer. He's a pastor. He's a sheriff. He's like the best gunslinger in Osage. He's like so good he's so good at shooting. And like it seems like every woman in town is like, oh my God, Yancey Cravat. I'm like, this is too much for one character to have.
But it's funny because like he's clearly set up to be this hero type character. And and just looking back at this thing, it just so hasn't aged well, and he's so not a hero. He's really a bad, awful guy. He abandons his family at multiple points for many years.
He has a bit of the wanderlust, as you do.
As one of those.
He's like, I have to leave for 5 years. Because it comes up that there's like this other, like, I don't know which president it is, but it's like, there's more land that you can settle.
Yeah, we have more wild land.
Yeah, we got all this land that thankfully nobody lives on. It doesn't belong to anybody. Let's just take it. Let's take some more of it. And Yancey's like, oh, that sounds fucking sick.
Sounds awesome.
And then he's like, I gotta go out there. And like he brings it up to his wife. He's like, let's go. And she's like, what are you talking about? We have like a house now, and like we're like members of the community. What are you talking about? Just go. Your kid's like 6 years old.
You have a newspaper here. Yeah. He's like, fuck it.
He's like, fine. I'll go by myself. Like guys literally ride up like after that, like before he's even decided, they ride up with a horse for him. They're like, come on, Yancey.
Yeah, it's just like the boys going out on the town.
He's like,
let's go claim fucking California or whatever.
Yeah. He's like, babe, they asked me to go. I kind of got to go now.
I can't say no, babe.
Yeah.
It's the boys.
You'll
You know
hold
how
down the
boys
fort,
get.
right?
And she does. She takes over the newspaper and all this stuff.
But she leaves his fucking stupid name at the top of the masthead or whatever. Like it says editor and fucking whatever. Yancey Cravat.
It's like the dude hasn't been around for years.
Yeah.
Is that when he goes to fight the Spanish-American War?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like how he gets caught up. First of all, does not contact home like at all. She's just like, he's just gone. Maybe he's dead. Nobody really knows. And then one day the kids are like, Daddy's home. And she's like, what the fuck?
I do want the stuff with Sabra like taking over. I want there to be more juice to it. It's sort of just like she's just kind of running the newspaper and she just like it's like a fucking Bechdel test thing. It's like every conversation is about fucking Yancey with everybody. And it's like, I want her to like, what's her life now though, besides just thinking about Nancy and running the fucking newspaper? Like, I think there could be an interesting story here about like, a woman who like finds her like independence or like whatever, like learns how to get on without her husband once he leaves. And the movie isn't really that. It's just sort of like, I don't know, just waiting for him to come back.
I would want the movie to tell that story if she wasn't an awful person.
This is the other thing, because you were saying like you're calling him a terrible person. I'm like,
she's worse.
That's true. He definitely leaves. But I agree with his politics mostly.
Yeah. She actively hates Native Americans. Like, I would love to see that thread where it's like, you know, her empowerment and taking over this thing and in the absence of her husband and raising a family, but she sucks. I hate her.
Yeah, so he leaves, comes back.
Immediately he learns about the trial of
Dixie Lee from the opening of the movie, who steals his land. She pops up occasionally throughout like the movie. She comes to Osage, or I guess her land's there, but yeah, she like pops up.
He's like weirdly fixated on her.
They never say. I guess they never say. I didn't really. I was waiting for some kind of reveal or like, why does he? But I guess the movie's old and like they don't necessarily want to be like, oh yeah, he was cheating on his wife. Like say that explicitly.
Yeah,
I get that's the vibe you got. He's definitely like,
oh for sure,
into her. Like
yeah. His wife hates her. His wife is very sex negative. She's like, nah, like she's a terrible person because of her occupation.
Yeah.
Then Yancey goes to defend her in court as a lawyer. He's like, I'm a lawyer, by the way. Do you remember that?
This is also another example of the movie feeling like it was adapted from a novel, because it's like, what is this? Why is this here? Like, I was also I had a feeling something was going to happen with Dixie Lee because she keeps popping up every once in a while. I'm like, I feel like she's becoming too much of like a recurring character for it to be like her just be a throwaway.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's this court case where the town is like, we want her out because, I don't know, she smells funny. Like, literally, there's like no case against her. I'm like, what are the charges?
And it takes a guy like Yancey to come in and sway everybody because like everybody is against her.
Yeah.
And he just dunks on that other lawyer. Actually, that's really what does it. He just dunks on that one dude.
Yancey's more likable. That's why he's able to win the case.
Right. And they're like, yeah, we like Yancey, so we'll fucking throw a hat in his ring.
Then there's like maybe 15 minutes left. It does like a fucking 17-year time jump after that. Yeah. Yancey has left again. He's been gone for, I think, even longer than last time. I don't fucking know. It's like all like
Yancey falls into an oil rig and they find out that's how they found him. They find him like it turns out he's been working in town the entire time and she's been looking for him all these years. And that's how he dies. He dies helping some dude who got stuck in an oil rig or something. And he's an old man. And then he died. And then they make a statue of him.
I actually did think that sequence, like that scene was like effective. I was like, just like the jaw. How jarring it was. Like she hasn't seen him in like fucking 20 years. And it's like, he has like so time. Old. He has like a beard.
Yeah. And he's like, "What are you, my wife or something?" Oh yeah,
It's insane. It's insane like that. But,
because oh shit, it's my fucking wife.
oh, the old
Reddit.
ball and chain. How you fucking doing, babe? Give me a kiss before I go.
Give me a kiss. I see the light coming in.
Hey, how's Sim doing? How's that other one doing? My daughter. What's her fucking name?
fucking Wesley Ruggles didn't give her a name.
Yeah, then he dies. They build a statue for him, and credits.
That's it.
I-
That's the whole thing.
My hot take.
Yeah.
I kind of like this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's like a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think I give it 2.5 stars. I think it's totally
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, I think it's slightly less than fine. It wasn't totally unwatchable, but there are a lot of moments where I'm just like really, this is what we're doing?
I think right before I started watching it, I was like, what did the Letterboxd reviews say about this? And like, it was universally like kind of bad. Like people were like,
Yeah.
1 star, 1.5 stars. This movie's a piece of shit. So I kind of went in with that attitude, and then I was like, when I was like an hour in, I was like, I don't like hate watching this. I'm like, oh, is this movie kind of not good, but like it's better. It's way better than I was expecting. I was expecting this to be a movie where I put it on 2x speed and just like go through it.
So it is interesting, but I think the way in which it's interesting is jarring. Like they have all these different vignettes, and it keeps you awake because it's just we have these massive time jumps where it's like actually where it's 10 years later now, and you're like, wait, what the hell? What's happening now? It makes it like a little bit it's like kind of staccato in its pacing, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But it does keep you interested, I guess. I don't know if it's necessarily good that it's structured that way.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like a movie with like really big time jumps like this, you really need like a deft hand to do something like that, because I don't think Wesley has it. No offense, Mr. Ruggles, but like
Come on the show.
it's a lot of movies have this problem, but it's like the time jumps happen, but the characters are like basically the same and they're having the same conversations.
Exactly.
And it's
That's
like
a good point.
nothing has developed. Like you're telling me Sabra in the last 9 years is like surprised that her husband is like, actually, I want to leave.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's like there's no. The time jumps are too big for you to like really like get a grip on the characters in any meaningful way. And like, yeah, like that's.
Mhm.
I kind of like how it's episodic, but also I think that limits what the movie is able to like say and do.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Do you have any other thoughts on Cimarron?
No.
Yeah. All right. You want to hear the other Best Picture nominee?
Yes.
So obviously Cimarron wins Best Picture, an RKO radio production.
Radio.
Yeah.
All right.
Next
All
up
right.
we have East Lynn.
Lynn?
Lynn.
Like Manuel Miranda or
Yeah, well, it's spelled Lynne.
East Lynn? Okay.
Such a weird title.
Is that a woman? Is it a place? What
I
is it
am
doing?
checking the credits on Letterboxd. There is nobody by the name of Lynn, nobody by the name of East. So let's see.
That's going to be confusing.
The refined Lady Isabel Carlyle, after leaving her family and enduring nearly a decade of hardships, learns that her son has fallen ill. Despite being nearly blinded as the result of an explosion, she returns home to see her son again.
What about that movie says East to you? Fuck off.
Yeah.
Pass.
Next up, we have The Front Page,
Ah, The Front Page, yeah.
directed by Louis Milestone.
Cool name.
It's about Hildy Johnson, an investigative reporter looking for a bigger paycheck. When an accused murderer escapes from custody, Hildy sees an opportunity for the story of a lifetime. But when he finds the criminal, he learns that the man may not be guilty. With the help of his
Ooh.
editor, Hildy attempts to hide the convict, uncover the conspiracy, and write the scoop of his career.
I see that does sound interesting to me. It's a fun concept, and I feel like there's gonna be a lot of silly bullshit in there that I would like to see.
I agree.
I just want to see Hildy's shenanigans.
That movie sounds kind of fun. Next up, we have Skippy.
No.
About a
What's
jar
Skippy?
of peanut butter that rolls its way to the top of Hollywood's biggest celebs. That's a weird premise for a movie.
I did not win.
Directed by Norman Taurog. Skippy, the mischievous son of a wealthy doctor, meets Sookie
No.
in poverty-ridden shanty town, and together they try to save Sookie's pet from a cruel dog catcher.
What?
What don't you fucking get?
That's the whole movie?
I guess so. It's 85 minutes.
All right.
And finally, we have a W.S. Van Dyke joint.
No way.
Trader Horn.
Who?
Trader Horn?
Okay. What's going on here?
While on safari in an unexplored area of Africa, I'm sure it's very sensitive depiction,
Definitely.
Trader Horn and Peru, that's a character? Yep. Duncan Ronaldo plays Peru. Trader Horn and Peru find missionary Edith Trent killed by natives. Okay. They decide to carry on her quest for her lost daughter. They decide to carry on her quest for her lost daughter, Nina. They find her as the queen of a particularly savage tribe and try to bring her back to civilization.
Her daughter is lost, and they find her only to find out that she's a queen of a lost civilization.
A savage tribe, and they try to bring her back to civilization.
That's gotta be worth a watch, no?
You think?
I don't know. It's definitely very sensitive in its portrayal of all characters, I'm sure, but I just want to know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, that sounds offensive, and I think we should probably burn the film print of that movie.
Give it to Hildy.
Who?
Hildy. What was his movie?
Which one was that?
The second one, where he's a detective, or he's a newspaper journalist.
Oh, the front page?
Yeah. Oh, the front page. Yeah.
Get to the front page.
Yeah, I'll give the Oscar to the front page.
All right. That's that.
Yeah, I don't think Cimarron's best picture worthy. I think it's
You don't?
I think it's kind of whack. I get it because they had this big scope to it for the first 5 minutes of the film, so that was probably pretty impressive to people back then. I don't think it holds up in any sense.
I don't know. I kind of like Cimarron. I think it's deeply problematic, and I will never watch it again, but I think it's got some stuff in it.
I don't think it's worth watching. For sitting at home thinking like Cimarron sounds pretty good, I would maybe pick something else. Pick Ex Machina. I just watched that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Movie's good.
That's a really good movie. Go ahead and watch that. They're very similar, but I think Ex Machina just like does the same concept a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? It's the execution. Michael, would you like to hear what some folks had to say about Cimarron?
I would if you said my real name.
Oh, Yancey Cravat.
I'm going by Plantain this episode, and you know that.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Mr. Plantain. I know that's your true name, but give me a fake name for this person so we can preserve their ultimate anonymity. We don't want to reveal their personage, the greater world. So give me the name. Oh, okay. You just have it. Yeah, go ahead. No. All right. Give me the name of somebody whose name starts with S.
Ascot Douglas.
Okay, Ascot Douglas. That's a great name.
Thanks.
Ascot Douglas says 3.5 stars. More entertaining than most of the people suggest around here, even with the hundreds of mosquitoes in my ears the entire movie. I reiterate, this movie does sound pretty bad.
That is what it sounds. That is what it does sound like. Mosquitoes in your ears. That's a really fucking good description.
Give me the name of somebody who's just overjoyed to be in the world today, overjoyed to be alive and kicking.
Dynamite Holmes.
Dynamite Holmes says 5 big fat stars. Well, I mean, what a little surprise slice of life, huh? If you go into this thinking Western, you're going to be disappointed, but that's a solid movie. Richard Dix acted his ass off, which is a sentence I can't unhear. You also can see in his body language that he excelled in silent films as well. Great script and pacing. And the screenplay was great. Artistic choices with cinematography were an added bonus. What a surprise little slice of life, huh?
Yeah, I don't know about that review.
Give me the name. For the last review I'll read, give me the name of somebody who's Yancey's mother-in-law.
Crochet Turdberg.
Crochet Turdberg says 2.5 stars. Mid. Fairly racist and boring. It has an interesting time setting where it follows the family throughout their lives, and the opening camera shots of the race for the land was incredible, but honestly the only things good that I can say about this movie.
Those are all the reviews.
Everyone. Every last drop.
Next week, we're talking A Man for All Seasons.
Ooh, who is he?
He's a man.
All right. Not a summertime man.
No.
Not a springtime man.
No way.
Not an autumn man.
No way.
Not even a winter man.
No way.
All that shit, dude.
All that shit. I think it's like the 1966 winter, 65. It's the movie before In the Heat of the Night that won the year before. In the meantime, you see that great big hot dog in the West?
What?
I want you to get a little caravan.
Okay.
Go chase that sucker.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Take that sucker. Put some mustard on it. Put a
Got to.
Call it home.
Mm-hmm.
Call it home.
Beautiful.
Bye, Wieners. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that bops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners.
I was watching the Olympics a lot yesterday, and they had this one kid on the U.S. track team who was 16, and he won gold.
Shit.
Imagine going back to fucking high school